Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is
Waalaikumsalam.
Sajjaad Ali, and today uh, I'm going to be talking a bit about the opportunities we have as a language degree graduate. But before that, I would like to give a short background. I was born in New Mexico, USA. I studied in New Mexico, USA, and I've been living in Indonesia for the past couple of years now, motivating and teaching English, uh, whether it's business English or with at the university or even through high school and to adult as well. I've been doing uh, my English ventures throughout Jakarta and Indonesia, and I've compiled a bit of data so far with what I've seen and what we can do better. Beforehand, I would like to thank the moderator, Butin, and everyone else for inviting me to join you today. Uh, as I can see, we're a little bit behind on the time, so I'm going to jump right into my material. Okay. All right. As you can see, when we're talking about literature and language in general, the first question that pops up into your head as a future student is a language degree worth it, right? That's the big question that everyone's asking today. Is a language degree worth it? Okay, so if we're talking about in terms of job opportunities and job ventures, uh, there's not really a limitation towards a language degree. There's always so many options that we can apply with a language degree, but a lot of people don't know. It's not clear to a lot of future students and to a lot of educators as well. People really are asking this question. Even some universities who have a language degree are trying to answer this question throughout the years. All the universities, including the students, are all asking the same question and are trying to figure out how to answer it. But um, it's a simple question, and the first thing we can do to dissect this question is to ask, who is it worth it for? Okay, so we all study to become someone who is ready for the job world, who is ready to become an employee. So generally speaking, a language degree is well respected by potential employers owing to the numerous transferable skills it demonstrates. So, uh, a language skill is a skill that we can transfer to many into many job ventures. For example, media, uh, journalism, like we just heard from Mr. Miftah, and many more. So, in terms of job opportunities, media publishing can be a good fit for language graduates, as they offer a good way to apply your knowledge of the written language, right? These skills will also serve you well in advertising and marketing. Teaching is another option, right? For primary education, right up to tertiary, language is considered important at all stages. We can agree upon that. Language is considered important at every stage of your life. The analytical skills associated with such a degree also apply well to things such as law and so on and so forth. So there's from QS World University Ranking, the result of mapping in 2020, the demand for education professionals will continue to exceed other professions. Okay, so if we're talking about this pandemic and is a language degree still relevant, you can see that demand will still exceed other professions. And demand for early childhood education professionals, for example, will still increase by 27% and education teachers by 21%. We all know this. The big stigma for a language degree graduate is you become a language teacher, right? You become a lecturer, you become a high school teacher, early childhood education, whatever it is, it's in education. That's the big stigma. But it's true. Okay, if you learn a language, your chances of becoming an educator are very high, and the demand to become an educator is very high. But I want to change the stigma to that not only education. So we have, other than the demand is very high. So for those of you who want to become an educator, then this is great. You're at the right place. The demand is increasing, even through the pandemic, even through the virus, this time where all the virus is spreading. Still, the demand for education professionals is still high. So 27%. That's pretty high. Okay, so if we're talking about jobs directly related to a degree, is digital copywriter, editorial assistant, English as a foreign language teacher, lexicographer, magazine journalist, web content manager, newspaper journalist, publishing copy editor, secondary school teacher, talent agent, right? And it goes on and on and on and on. Okay, these are jobs that directly related. Now, for jobs where your degree would be useful, would be academic librarian, advertising copywriter, arts administrator, education consultant, information officer, learning mentor, marketing executive, media researcher, primary school teacher, public relations officer, private tutor, record manager, social media manager. Okay, so it would be useful. If you had a degree, it would be useful. But now, I, as a graduate of a foreign language, which is where, for example, if you live in Indonesia and you graduate uh, in English literature or Japanese literature, then you're graduating from a foreign language. And there are many more options. And this is what I want to talk about the most. Number one, tour guiding. So working in travel agencies to accommodate foreign visitors. This is something that we try to do at STBA JIA as well, is try to guide our students into tour guiding as well, because any foreigner that comes to Indonesia is going to need someone to guide them in English, period. That should be enough information for you. Consular office, working at a consulate or embassy of the language you studied or for the country overseas. So you can work at a foreign language embassy here, for example, the American embassy, the British embassy here, or you can work in the Indonesian embassy overseas with the language that you acquired. Okay, so for this is an option that I think is great. It's a high-paying job. It's good, and language is one of the most important aspects of the job. A diplomatic staff overseas. So working overseas for your government using your language abilities. Okay, so you can work overseas as a diplomat for Indonesia. This is a very big possibility, especially if you have the English skills or the language that you are going to travel to. For example, if you studied Japanese literature, maybe you can become a diplomat for Indonesia in Japan. These are the options that you can that are there. A linguist, some linguists use their abilities and training to work in government. Linguists and analysts are high demand to conduct research, provide language-related technology services, and contribute important insights on issues of law, policy, and education. So there's always space for someone who has a language degree and who has information about a language which can help your country. Okay, so if you can be working here in your own government, but as for example, you can work something that has to do with related to technology or insight into law or policy and education. An interpreter, translating a foreign language orally, which is very important. This vast field extends into international companies and events. So, for example, I was offered I think 1 or 2 years ago by the Asian Games. Were looking for interpreters, which they contracted. So you would get a contract to interpret English for the foreign athletes that come to your country. So this can happen through like Sea Games, the Olympics, Asian Games, any sort of event, international event that comes to Indonesia, there's going to always be a spot or a place for interpreters. This is something we have to realize as well. Or even becoming or interpreting for people who are for your local athletes that are going to go international. Now, you can be a flight attendant as well. If you wish to be an international flight attendant, you need to be fluent in a second language. You must be fluent in a second language. And due to the combination of these jobs, being able to fluently speak more than one language increases your chance of being hired. Flight attendants who can speak fluent English or any language that you're studying is a huge plus, and it's going to get you the job. It's going to get you the job a lot faster than you would expect. Voiceover artist. Okay, this is one of another one which I've actually dived into myself. I've done a few voiceover projects. It's a very good pay. It's a good side job. You don't have to do it full time. And if you can speak any foreign language fluently, getting into the voiceover world is as easy as ever. All you need to do is be continuing your studies, and when you're ready, you're definitely going to be able to do any sort of voiceovers. Voiceover is just about practice. So if you have good speaking skills, then this is a good option for you. Public speaking coach. Part of learning a language is how you apply it. So being able to speak in public is an asset you can share with others. If you're good in speaking in front of your class at your university, if you're good talking with your friends, talking with your lecturer, then this could be an option for you. MC, host or presenter, news and radio announcing and hosting international events. So you can either become an MC, you can be hosting international events in English, or even weddings. You can become a DJ, a VJ. These are all options. A presenter for news or even for music, for anything. There's a lot of options for language that people sometimes forget. Language course stuff. There are always vacancies open for a language degree student working in language course companies. We all know the language courses we have in Indonesia, Wall Street, EF, all these other things like that. There's always going to be vacancies open if you have the English skills to either work as a teacher or work as part of the staff or anything like that. A few ways. Okay, so now after I've given you a few options, don't limit yourself to those options. There's so many options, and you don't just think that the ones that I think I gave you 10 options for you studying a foreign language. Don't just think of those 10. It can be anything. You can always relate the work that you want to do with language. You can always relate it, whether it's law, or it's directly related, or it's not related. You can always connect it with language. Now, I want to, because we're going on into these job options, of course, there may be a question, oh, okay, there's all these job options. How do I get them? You know, what connection? I don't have connections. How do I get them? Here's a few ways to easily be hired as a fresh graduate with a language degree. Now, creating opportunity as a language graduate with awareness. Okay, what does that mean? While attaining your degree, you should already be looking for options locally and internationally, and try to craft your studies around it. Okay, so while you're getting your degree, you should already be looking for what you want to do after you finish, and start looking for the connection and the awareness and what you can do to get it. So when you graduate, you're ready to go. For example, if you would like to become a voiceover artist, right? Okay, if you'd like to become a voiceover, got it. If you'd like to become a voiceover artist, one way that you can prepare yourself for that world is start joining the communities beforehand. Use your voice, study your voice, craft your voice the way you want it to be, the way you want to be sound. If you want to work as a diplomat or a counselor, you should already be doing the research and also brushing up on the governing system of your country and its diplomatic affairs. Okay, so you already know that you're going to be you want to work as a diplomat, so start learning about how does your government work, right? How does your government work, and how can you apply it in your language? These are the questions you have to ask. Next, love the language you are learning. I can't stress how important this is. People forget. A lot of people jump into literature, but they don't love language. If you don't love language, then you're at the wrong place. You must love the language you're learning. If your heart is not into the language you're learning, the outcome will not be the maximum outcome. All right. You want to have the maximum outcome. You want to love what you're doing, and in exchange, you will get the results. So you must love the language you're learning. If you don't love the language you're learning, it's going to be extremely hard for you to study it. It's going to be extremely hard for you to get a job with it. Okay, build social skills throughout your academic career. This is important to me too, because a lot of people don't realize that when you are studying in college, when you're at a university, everyone you know there can be an asset. It all depends on how you present yourself and how you show your skills, okay? So everyone you talk to can be a connection. Everyone that you're studying with, your lecturer, the alumni, everyone that is around you can be a connection. So start speaking up, start speaking with your friends, study your language, but apply it, okay? If you do not have social skills, it's going to be difficult for you to represent a language. How can you represent a language if you don't know how to use it? How can you represent a language if you don't know how to apply it? So build your social skills. Social skills is extremely important for a language graduate because it is directly connected to language. If you do not have social skills, you are not going to be able to apply your language effectively. And lastly, build your network, okay? So anyone that you meet throughout your academic career is a connection, like I said before. You should already be discussing with your university. What options do you have? What companies are your university working with? What options, what is your alumni doing? What kind of jobs do your alumni have? Are they able to help you when you finish, okay? So build your network. Even your lecturers can become your network if you know how to work together with them and you know how to sell what you want to do. And for example, if you came up to me as a lecturer and said, hey, I want to get into the voiceover world, I would not hesitate to help you figure out what you want to do, right? So build your connection. Everyone at the university is there to help you. So all you have to do is start speaking up. Lastly, adapt to the demand, okay? So in this pandemic era, there's a huge demand for example, for a social media strategist, marketing strategist, because people need to sell their product, and the only way they can sell it is virtually. You come in that state. You come in when you know that the demand in this pandemic is that people need to sell their products. So what can you do? You can sell your language skills through marketing, okay? A lot of people need uh, people to translate, people to write out their strategy in English, and there's so many options online. Even there's actually a website online where all you have to do is review a menu in English, and you can get paid like $50, right? There's so many options for you as someone who can speak a foreign language in a country that doesn't everyone doesn't speak it. You can sit there and write out in English your review on a menu, or your review on a blog, and get paid. You can become a strategist and strategize social media with English and get paid. There's so many options online. So adapt yourself to what is going on in the market. You can literally click in Google right now, how can I get paid translating? Question mark, and you can get the answer straight away. Use your facilities and use it to adapt to the demand that we have right now. Okay, Uh, Basically, you have to be able to adapt. You have to be able to build your social skills before you graduate. A lot of people start thinking about work after they graduated. The first year you study, you should already think about what you're going to do when you graduate. Thank you so much, everyone, for your time. I'm sorry if I was going a little bit too fast. I hope that you guys could take away something from this. Thank you so much.